07 as we welcome the editor's view with Jim Campanini, but I understand we've got a very capable and a great reporter on the line filling in for Jim Campanini, the enterprise editor for the Lowell Sun. Welcome to the program, Chris Scott.
Good morning, John. How are you?
Good morning. How are you? Welcome to the program.
Good. Is my friend George Zaharoulis there as well?
The one and only.
Absolutely, Chris.
How are you, George?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing fine, sir. Thank you.
Are you doing any bicycling?
Oh, all the time.
Oh, that's good.
You know, with the lack of snow this winter, it's made it very easy to stay on the wheels.
That's good.
That's good.
So,
Chris, what's going on with the Lowell Sun? What do you want to talk about?
Well, boy, it's been a very busy week. With the downtown disorder issues,
yep,
which appeared to take center stage at the city council last night. You have Scott Brown suddenly surging by about 10 points in the latest Suffolk University Channel 7 poll against Democrat Elizabeth Warren.
I know. I almost fell off my chair this morning when I read that.
Yeah, there was a poll earlier this week that basically had them in a dead heat, and now you see Brown ahead by about 7 points. I have a feeling that you're going to be seeing some seesawing in that race over the course of the next several months. Both candidates are raising a lot of money, and both candidates are doing all they can, to keep their names out there. So I think you'll be seeing that. You'll see that go back and forth. We'll have a story on that in tomorrow's newspaper on that latest poll. Our State House reporter, Chris Kamir, is going to be doing a story trying to figure out, how they could be in a dead heat on Tuesday, and then
right.
Brown suddenly ahead by 10 points on Thursday. So that should be a pretty interesting read.
It's always interesting when you look at how they actually perform the poll, whether it's likely voters, whether it's registered voters, the area in which they take their sampling. Is it a statewide sampling? Is it a very localized one? So that'd be interesting. I look forward to that. I look forward to that article.
I think I'm not a big fan of polls, because a poll to me just gives just a tiny little real piece of information captured from a moment in time.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I think there are so many different ways to conduct polls, as you mentioned, John, that if Brown wanted to get a particular poll result, he probably could do it, and the same goes for Warren.
Yeah.
But I will say this, that the Suffolk University Channel 7 poll, Suffolk University has been doing these polls for a long time. Their chief guy down there is a fellow by the name of Dave Paleologos. They tend to be pretty reputable polls and pretty spot on, so we'll see.
Yeah, that's interesting. It certainly is, and I wonder what issue, if any, is the one that's driving this new surge in the polls for Senator
Well,
Brown.
I would have to say that it's this issue concerning the conscience exemption and this whole, and I'm not sure I understand the whole thing either, but the contraception issue with health care. It was mandated by Obama, but then Obama backed off. So, that issue has been capturing the headlines this week.
Yeah, it certainly has, and I know Massachusetts is, if there's one dominant religion, it is Catholicism, and that I would say probably does have a little bit of an influence.
I would say, and I wouldn't even say, it's an issue of Catholicism. Generally speaking,
yep.
Anytime you hit religion in a heated campaign, boy, it's going to get a lot of people going one way or the other. So I think that's what you're seeing here.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what else is going on with the Lowell Sun? What else is going to be covered this weekend that we might find interesting?
Well, a couple things. We're going to be going to a party this evening at the Tsongas Center.
Yeah.
For Mike Creasy. Mike Creasy is the Lowell National Historical Park Superintendent, who is moving on to a different job up in Woodstock, Vermont. He works his last day in the city on February 25th, and some folks are gathering at the Tsongas Arena tonight before the UMass Lowell hockey game.
Great.
To show their appreciation. Creasy has really Creasy has developed a really good reputation here in the city. He's been here, I think, about 6-7 years, and he follows other park superintendents that have really ingratiated themselves to the local political and cultural officials here in the city. Creasy has done a really good job, and folks are telling me that he's really going to be missed.
Yeah.
We're going to have a story, a political story, another one out of Drake tomorrow. A well-known public school activist by the name of Joel Wilkie is going to be running for school committee this spring against incumbents Bonnie Eli and Ronnie Mercier. So that will be an interesting story as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything political and Drake tends to be a pretty good read, particularly these days.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, that's something to look forward
to. Coming in Sunday's paper, we've got quite a few things coming in Sunday's paper. I'll just touch on a couple of them. Back to Scott Brown. Scott Brown is scheduled to appear in Chelmsford tomorrow, where he's going to be schmoozing with the voters outside the Market Basket at the Eastgate Plaza.
Oh, wow.
So we hope to cover that with a reporter and a photographer, hear what Brown has to say. But more importantly, we're going to try to talk to some folks who are there to see what they see in Brown, whether they like him, dislike him, or could care less.
Yep.
So we're going to try to take a look at Brown through the eyes of likely voters. We also have a story coming on that whole issue concerning the community colleges. You guys are probably aware that the governor has proposed a new system under which the state's 11 or 13, I forget what the number is, community colleges would kind of come under some central control in Boston.
Yeah. I don't like personally. I don't like the sounds of it, but hey, I guess that's why people read.
There are plenty of people around here that don't as well, John. Including the local community college, Middlesex Community College. Tomorrow, however, we're going to be taking a look at the issue through the eyes of some folks who believe it is a good idea.
Okay.
And they came in. These folks from the Boston Foundation came in to meet with the Sun this week, the Sun editorial board. So we're just going to be taking a look at the issue through their eyes. If you recall, the Middlesex Community College folks came in to meet with us. Let's see, I think probably about a week or so ago.
Yep.
And gave us their spin on the whole issue. So this is the other side, and that should be an interesting read. Lyle Moran is covering that story for us.
Excellent. The award-winning Lyle Moran, I might mention.
Lyle's doing it.
You guys had won some.
Tell me, you mentioned that you're opposed to that, and you've heard some chatter on that. Tell me what you've heard about the community college issue.
No, I've heard a little bit of chatter. I mean, I don't particularly care for it. Simply the fact that anything that seems to be centralized, I'm all for saving money and costs and so on and so forth. But I do think what makes these community colleges special is the fact that they are locally run and they cater to the needs of a specific area. And whether that be a business that has specific needs, it needs some sort of training and so on and so forth. I think it's just more cumbersome and more bureaucratic when you try to centralize, particularly a college system. I don't think it's a one shoe fits all type of program, and that's kind of where I fall on the subject. And so I think it's. I look forward to hearing the other side, though, and I think that's a part we often miss with these particular subjects is that we don't want to listen to the other side. So I look forward to reading that.
I don't want to listen to the other side.
Come on, George.
Well, I'd be very frank with you. I think the president of the local school has done a magnificent job in catering to the area needs. And if it wasn't for her leadership, we'd be nowhere. I know youngsters that have gone to the school that have gone 2 years and then matriculated to the university, and they've really gotten ahead. And that school has a personal touch with these youngsters, and the faculty is just plain outstanding as far as I can see, that they cater to these students. And for them to take it out of the local hands, I think is despicable, because they don't know what's happening in the city of Lowell.
Right. Yeah. It's hard to see what's going on from the city of Boston and to the city of Lowell as well.
See, I'm very opinionated, Chris.
But that I well know. But let me just just to play devil's advocate here for a minute. Years and years ago, each school in the university system used to have its own board of trustees, and
Yes.
And that was eventually that was all consolidated into one board of trustees. So that it happened there. So it sounds like they're trying to do a similar thing here with the community colleges. A question that I would like to ask the governor at some point is, do you feel the need to have? I wish I remembered the number of community colleges. Either 11 or 13. But do you need? And I'm not saying you do or you don't. But do you need 13 individual boards of trustees and 13 individual administrations and 13 presidents and what have you, when, right here in northeastern Massachusetts, you have 3 community colleges that are relatively close by. You've got Middlesex, and George, I hear you. No one is saying that Middlesex is doing a poor job. As as a matter of fact, everyone says Middlesex does a terrific job. With its objectives, and Carol Cowan is the perfect leader.
Absolutely.
But you've got Middlesex. 10 miles down the road, you have Northern Essex, and 10 miles south of Northern Essex, you have the North Shore Community College.
Yeah, for someone like myself who's taken classes at both Northern Essex Community College and Middlesex Community College in the past, I could say, they operated differently. It's a convenience issue. I know they certainly have different programs, different needs, different desires to suit the program. So, yeah, there is a question of whether or not you need all that. But I think that, again, the one-size-fits-all type of mentality, maybe it needs to be taken a look at. But at this point, I wouldn't say I agree with it.
Do the directors get paid?
The trustees, George?
Yes, the trustees.
I don't believe they do.
So what's the problem?
Right. Well, hey, Chris, I hate to interrupt, and I want to thank you for coming on the radio.
Sure,
We're getting ready to wrap up here, but I really thank you for coming on. You did a great job, and we look forward to having you on again.
Okay, guys, thanks.
Thank you, ladies
care.
and gentlemen. That was Chris Scott, the Editor's View with Jim Campanini. And we had Chris filling in. He did a fantastic job, and we've got a few more minutes here on the program, but I do want to mention our good friend at Center Ice Pub, John Dakota. They got some registration programs going on with deck hockey. Call them up at 978-458-3505. And I also want to mention our friends at Riverwalk Properties, Elite Body Therapy and Salon Nicole. I just went in there yesterday. You know me. I got to get my hair cut done every 2 weeks, whether I need it or not. Fantastic experience. And Nikki, who does a fantastic job, give them a call at 978-557-8900. Here we are.
I'd just like to mention that the Franco-American Vets Incorporated meet the third Tuesday each month at 7 p.m., September through June. Centerville Social Club. Good friend Roland is there. Good luck, Roland. I hope you keep that organization going as well as it has in the past, and hope to see you soon.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for the JMac and the Bear Show. I'm John McDonald, my co-host George Zaharoulis, and Stacy, the radio goddess. Special shout-out to Wireless Mike Flynn. Thank you, and have a great day.
WCAP, Lowell, Haverhill, Lawrence, Methuen, Nashua, and Salem, New Hampshire, serving the Merrimack Valley. Now, hear the WCBB TV Channel 5 HD television news, weather, and sports, live on